out, John.
Tonight, voices ring out across Australia demanding action to end violence against women.
People turning up, it's putting pressure on them. They're going to have to do something after these rallies.
Washington makes progress with Beijing but remains unimpressed with China's relations with Russia. King Charles makes support for cancer research a priority in his cautious return to work. And South Africa's inequality challenge 30 years after elections that promised so much. I'm Anton. This is SBS World News. Good evening. The government is being urged to declare violence against women a national emergency. Thousands of people have rallied in Sydney, Adelaide and Hobart as part of a weekend of protests. The Prime Minister says more needs to be done, and he's confirmed he'll be marching in Canberra tomorrow.
We won't take it anymore! Furious and fed up.
The world's first transplant of a genetically edited pig kidney was conducted at Massachusetts General Hospital. It too has so far been a success. Previously, there have been 2 pig heart transplants, but in both cases, the patients died within months. The genetic modifications in these latest surgeries aim to significantly reduce the odds of failure. Kath Landers, SBS World News.
Coming up next, a crash, a fire and the long wait for the blaze to burn out. And Sydney FC's women's team are celebrating yet again after surging into a 7th straight grand final. Has been closed in both directions. Investigations into the cause are continuing. Saturday Sport now with John Baldock, and the A-League women's season is hotting up, John.
It sure is indeed, Anton. And it's congratulations tonight to Sydney FC. The Sky Blues are into the A-League Women's Grand Final for a 7th consecutive year. The reigning champions had Mackenzie Hawkesby to thank. She scored in both legs to hold off the challenge of the Central Coast Mariners.
A sunny afternoon at Leichhardt Oval and a feast of football to go with the picnics. Home advantage for Sydney, as well as a 1-goal lead from the first leg. And the winners of last year's grand final didn't take long to find their stride.
Nice strike first time off the woodwork.
Inches away from breaking the deadlock. Mackenzie Hawkesby was Sydney's goal hero on the Central Coast, and she was back on the score sheet in the second leg too.
It's fallen to Mackenzie Hawkesby. She finds the back of the net for her 5th goal of the season.
The Mariners 2 down overall and with a mountain to climb. Somehow, they found a foothold before half-time.
Badawia finds the back of the net. Roll of Badawia, well, it had to be the former Sydney FC player.
Despite almost 60% possession and more shots than Sydney, Central Coast could not find another. The second leg drawn 1-1, but it's Sydney FC who go through to the grand final for a record 7th straight year. And they could have a chance for revenge against Melbourne City, the team that has beaten them 3 times in grand finals over the last 8 years. City lead the Newcastle Jets 3-0 going into their second leg. Alex Thomas, SBS World News.
Real Madrid is on the brink of another Spanish La Liga title thanks to teenager Arda Güler. Nicknamed the Turkish Messi, Güler signed for Real last year, but this was his first La Liga start. The 19-year-old scoring the only goal of the game against Sociedad. Madrid's victory leaves them 14 points clear of Barcelona, who has 6 games to go. After a year in the Championship, Leicester City will be back in the Premier League next season. The 2016 winners are guaranteed promotion following Leeds United's 4-0 loss at Queen's Park Rangers. And Feyenoord coach Arne Slot is on the brink of becoming Liverpool's next manager. The 2 clubs have agreed compensation to Slot to replace Jurgen Klopp, who is stepping down at the end of the season. Feyenoord won the Dutch title last season and the Domestic Cup this year. Manly skipper Daly Cherry Evans is facing 2 weeks on the sidelines. The NRL judiciaries hit him with a minimum 2-game ban for a dangerous throw tackle on Parramatta's Sean Lane last night. His Manly teammate Hamoli Olakau'atu received the same punishment for this incident. If their appeal fails, the bans will be extended to 3 weeks. 2 late tries from Ruben Garrick, helping the Sea Eagles to a 14-point victory. A change of scenery hasn't helped Alistair Clarkson. His winless start as North Melbourne coach continued in Hobart today. Adelaide bounced back from last week's shock loss to Essendon to condemn the Kangaroos to a 7th straight loss. Isaac Rankin spearheading his side to a 57-point win, kicking 4 goals in the match. Only a late flurry from North stopped the margin of defeat being much higher.
Let's just be philosophical about it, about the position that we're in. We know we need to get better, but some of it is just time. As I said, we've got plenty of experience at our club to know what the pathway is.
Australian golfer Grace Kim has extended her lead at the latest LPGA event in the United States. She followed up her opening score of 64 with the second round 66, which included 4 birdies and an eagle. It leaves Kim at 12 under par at the LA Championship, 4 shots ahead of Sweden's Maya Stark. And for the second day running, there was a hole-in-one at the 18th. American Austin Kim with an ace at the par 3. She finished tied for 5th at 5 under, heading into the 3rd round. American Brendan Steele holds a 1-shot lead on day 2 of the Live Golf event in Adelaide. The chasing pack includes Australia's Cameron Smith. Steele shot an 8 under par 64 at the Grange to lie at 14 under. Smith is 3 shots further back after firing a 65 today. Japan's overnight leader, Junichiro Kozuma, couldn't match his opening round 9 under par score. His second round included 4 bogeys. Talaya Blacksmith is used to overcoming obstacles in her career. Born with an intellectual disability, the young Walpiri woman was adopted at 18 months old. Now 16, the Northern Territory runner is closing in on a place in Australia's Paralympic team in Paris.
16-year-old Talaya Blacksmith is on the precipice of becoming just one of a handful of Indigenous Paralympians.
I would probably start tearing up because I always wanted to do that, because just to be like Kathy Freeman and go at a 16 age as well is pretty good.
Born to compete, the Walpiri teenager is in hot pursuit of a coveted seat on the plane to Paris 2024.
I'm thinking about my family and how I'm going to
Johnny Bairstow was the headline act in a record-breaking Indian Premier League game. But Anton, that wasn't the only record. The 42 sixes scored in the match is also a world record.
Exactly what the fans love, isn't it? Thanks, Joris. Coming up, the weather, and
there's no stigma. We do what we say we're going to do. We treat each other with respect.
a program gives workers a much-needed second chance while growing their confidence too. Checking the weather now. High-level cloud is scattered over the centre of Australia. Low-level cloud is over parts of eastern Queensland and eastern New South Wales. A high centred over the ACT is bringing onshore flow, and low cloud onto the eastern coast as well as parts of Tasmania. In the major centres, sunny for Darwin, a shower or two in Brisbane, partly cloudy in Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne and Hobart. Sunshine also for Adelaide and overcast conditions in Perth. Looking further afield, clear skies for up here. Thunder in Nadi, fine in Tahiti, clear skies in Wellington. In Southeast Asia, partly cloudy in Bangkok, fine in Phnom Penh, thunder for Kuala Lumpur, clouds in Jakarta and Port Moresby. Further north, clouds for Beijing, sunny in Seoul, drizzle for Taipei, rain ahead for Hong Kong, and partly cloudy in Manila. Heading west, clouds for Beirut, sunny in Tehran and Baghdad, rain for Islamabad, clear skies in New Delhi. On to Europe now, a few showers for Stockholm, partly cloudy in Berlin, fine for Warsaw and Budapest, drizzle for Madrid and a few showers also for Istanbul. In Africa, clouds for Algiers, clear skies in Casablanca, thunder for Lagos, a few showers for Nairobi, partly cloudy conditions in Johannesburg. In South America, partly cloudy in Caracas, thunder for Panama City, rain for Bogota, overcast in Buenos Aires. And for North America, showers in Vancouver, sunny in San Francisco, a few showers for Honolulu, partly cloudy in Mexico City. Well, getting a job after a stint in prison isn't an easy task.
Alan Lee
SBS World News.
For more great stories like this and others about Australian entrepreneurs, visit the Small Business Secrets website or SBS On Demand. Recapping our top story now, rallies have taken place in Sydney, Adelaide and Hobart, calling for an end to violence against women. As part of a weekend of protests, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has confirmed he'll be joining tomorrow's march in Canberra. That's the world this Saturday. If you've missed any of tonight's bulletin, you can catch up at SBS On Demand. I'll be back with news updates throughout the evening on SBS, but for now from the World News team, good night.